Howdy again, Mr. Pete here. You know, it's a cold January day. It's about 5 degrees outside, so it's a great day to be down here in a semi-warm shop. Well, I've been doing a lot of experiments and work with the Clausing 12-inch Series 5900 lathe lately, and I've noticed that the clutch is slipping quite a bit. So it takes this heavy chuck quite a while to come up to speed. A lot of inertia, you know, this thing weighs 60 pounds. But I've never adjusted this clutch, and this machine was made in the early 80s, I believe, or maybe it was even the 70s. I'll tell you here in a second. So it's a learning experience. I've got the manual out, and let's dig into it, see if I can get it fixed. Let me show you what it's doing first. Not every lathe has a clutch, but this particular model does. So this just turns the spindle on and off when the motor is running. So let me start the motor. You can hear it. This is a noisy machine because of the Reeves drive, but watch how slow the chuck starts to move. So it took, what, 5 or 8 seconds for the chuck to get up to speed. So the clutch is slipping. Well, the clutch is located down here pretty low, so I'm going to take the cover off. It's going to be very cramped working in here. My knees are going to hurt by the time this is over. Okay, here's the original manual. Notice how clean it is, and that is my handwriting on there. Remember, I wrote the purchase order for this at the high school in October of '73. And it's got a complete parts list and some instructions as far as maintenance is concerned. Now, I do not like my manuals dirty. And the reason it's so clean is whenever I start to work on something, I make a photocopy. So there is the, can't tell the top from the bottom. All right. There's a lot of parts. And the clutch is down in here, so this is where the adjustment will be made. And there is a picture and a paragraph of how to adjust it. So I hope that's all there is to it, and I do not actually need any repair parts. Let's dig in. The power, by the way, is cut. Well, now that I wasted my time taking this cover off, I realize the access is from within this panel. Not only that, but there's a nice set of instructions right here. Guess what? On how to adjust the clutch. Wasted all that time with a manual. Oh, what a fool I was, and am. By the way, this is the original color of the machine. I don't know if you can tell because of the harsh lights. Or is this primer, and this was the original color. I would say this is. And the inside. Who cares? Well, I think I'll blow it off a little bit before I get in there. Okay, oh, that's for a camera angle. You know, that one light that I had with a magnetic base is actually way too bright. But this is the clutch pack right here. Now, I'm going to move the clutch. It's engaged right now. That's disengaged. Now, according to the directions, what I have to do is loosen up this cap screw that I'm touching, if you can see it right there, and then I'm going to rotate the spindle until I see a hole, and in that hole I will put a punch or a spanner, and it said tighten it clockwise 1/8 of a turn, no more than that. So that's what I will try. Okay, so I'm loosening it up just a little bit. Maybe I can show this. We'll see what happens. There, that felt like about an eighth. Now, off camera, what I'm going to have to do is plug the machine back in and turn it on and see if it's any different. Well, the amazing thing is that this has never been done. You know, this is what, a 40 or 50-year-old machine, and there never has been an adjustment. So that is tight. This is the clutch pack. Did I tell you that or not? I'm sure I did. And I'm so happy I didn't have to get into that. Okay, let's have a test run. There's quite a difference here, so I'll turn it on. Now watch how quickly it comes up to speed. So I'm one happy man. You know, it usually isn't that easy. All right, one or two other things I want to show you and then we're done. Well, would you believe it? It actually helped. It did work. In a few minutes after I button this back up, I'll take you topside and I'll demonstrate the difference. So I'm amazed. You know, it's not terribly dirty in there, and it's always easy to get a bolt or a nut loose if it hasn't been outdoors. If it's in an environment that's greasy and oily and the temperature doesn't vary and rust doesn't set in, it's just easy to move things that compared to working on a tractor or something that's been outdoors. So I'm pretty happy that it was that easy, because I do not expect a job to be easy when I go into it. I've just had, well, from experience, like you old guys understand what I mean by that. I get lots of complaints as to how noisy this machine is, and this is why. This is a Reeves drive here, variable pitch, and we got two big wide belts. They make a lot of noise. Now watch as I turn just the motor on, and the clutch is not engaged, so the spindle will not turn. So this is just the motor. Now I'm going to turn it on again, and I'm going to change the pitch here. It's all hydraulic, you know, with that big knob at the top. You're supposed to run it through its full range every day, but let me just do that real quickly and show you what's happening and why it's so noisy. Nowadays, most of the speed control is by VFD, or variable speed motors, and DC motors and things like that. But this was the way to do it years ago. And the drill press right behind me, that Delta drill press, is the same way. It's just a terribly noisy machine, but I still love it. So now that you see how that works, I'll take another shot now. I'll turn the motor on and then I'll throw the clutch, and you'll see this belt turning, and that's because of the clutch. I don't know if you can see that or not. When I'm engaging the clutch, then this belt drives the spindle. Both of these belts look pretty good considering they are almost 50 years old. Okay, that's just the general principle. It's probably more than you need to know. And this is a pretty good sized motor. It's either 2 or 3 horsepower, I have forgotten, and it is 3-phase, so I do have a converter. Sometimes I can't think of names, you know. Did you ever wonder what it looked like behind the scenes? Well, as I said before, too good to be true. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next video. By the way, I hope Alex is watching, but this is the magnetic camera holder. It's kind of like a Noga that I use, and it was so handy getting down close to the ground because my tripod will not go that low. So that's just almost a miracle. Okay, let me talk about the Walker Turner, my favorite drill press, and it has a VFD on it. Listen how quiet it is. Maybe you can't tell, you know, from the camera. That's it at 1,000 RPM, and I can crank it up to 2,000, and you can't even hear it, hardly. Now let me compare it to the Delta. Okay, the Delta has a Reeves drive to change the speeds, and it's very heavy. The head is extremely heavy because of those pulleys, so it's quite a bit noisier. But let me tell you about a few improvements I'll be making on this in future videos. Some of you have heard this little preview in other videos, but I got injured slightly recently when the drill press vise got away on me. So I made this magnetic drill press vise, and there'll be a video on that presently. And that's not going to move. There are 600 pounds of force with these magnets, so that's pretty awesome. One other thing, this is a very heavy production table, so about 8 years ago I made a counterweight on here. Remember that? There's a video on that, and it works pretty good because this production table is terribly heavy. But now that I'm in my 80s, even this is too heavy. So watch for a future video, and it's a collaboration with my friend Ellie Price out in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I will be mounting a motor on this, so it's just zip up, zip down, and problems go away. This will take me till I'm 95. Also, one more plug for you while I'm at it. I very recently purchased at a very nominal cost a milling attachment made specifically for the closing. I've never seen one before. I did know that they made them. It's in the catalog, but never actually laid my eyes, let alone my hands, on it. So watch for the video where I show how to install this, and probably 2 parts, I'll show you how to use it. Now this, of course, is for entertainment purposes only because there aren't that many of these machines around, because they were so much more expensive than, say, an Atlas or a South Bend. So I'm done there. But, you know, since I took this cover off foolishly, I'm going to go ahead and blow that off and vacuum it up and clean it and wipe the cover both inside and out. And I'll clean this cover up as well.